A great pleasure to introduce a dear friend, Tab Davis. She's the 2018 co-chair for Springfield Chamber of Commerce. She's the marketing consultant for Bicoastal Media. But most importantly, she's the wife of Deputy Sheriff J.R. Davis. The sacrifices of this amazing, loving, faithful wife are amazing. You see, we need to recognize that the sacrifices of our men and women in blue run deep, family deep. And oftentimes we don't recognize that, and I hope that we do this morning. And so Tab is going to share a little bit about what it means to be holding down the home front for those who sacrifice so much to keep us safe. So Tab, please come.
Being his wife is the most important thing, but it's my favorite thing. My husband, J.R. Darrell, to you all, and I have been married for 22 years. And if you knew our story, it's pretty much miraculous, don't you think, Mom? But our day starts off probably pretty similarly to yours. Goodbye, I love you, he says, and he kisses me on the cheek. I love you too, be safe, I say. Promise, he replies. And we both know that's no promise at all. When he decided to become a law enforcement officer just over 22 years ago, he's been with the sheriff's office for about 19 years now, but he started his career in law enforcement about 22 years ago. We knew that it would be a difficult job, and I knew there would be some things I didn't like. Shift work. You guys can relate, you're single mom part of the time. I can count on one hand the number of Christmases I've spent with my husband since we've been married. But that's not unique to us. Some of you may be in that similar situation. There are some things, though, that I could not have predicted. And I'm going to tell you some stories about those in a minute. But first, I want to tell you a little bit about my husband. My husband is a Gulf War veteran of the United States Marine Corps. He exemplifies the ethos of the Marine Corps: honor, courage, and commitment. He is the most amazing father to our 3 children. They not only love him and confide in him, but he is truly their hero. And for me, he's a rock. He's my biggest cheerleader, next to my mom. He's an advocate for me, and he's extremely loyal. My husband has the biggest, most kind heart I've ever met in a man, which is funny because if you ever meet him, you kind of think he's a jackass. But the reality is he has a sincere heart for people. He loves this community. He was born here. We've raised our family here. One time many years ago, he gave away my sofa out of my living room. Like, legitimately came home and took the sofa out of my living room and delivered it to another family that needed one. How did he know they needed one? He took the last few dollars out of our bank account that day and took groceries to their house, and when he got there to deliver the groceries, he discovered they didn't even have a place to sit in their home. And he said, I can work more tomorrow, I'll get another sofa, but they need ours. The kindest, most giving, most caring, community-minded man I've ever met, except for this. He's not unique or special. He's very much like many of the men and women that I've had the privilege of getting to know in law enforcement over the last 22 years. These men and women here, and many, many more. Things that I couldn't have predicted. I'm going to tell you a few stories. Imagine I come home from work one day, my husband has gotten home before me, and he's laying on the floor in the living room playing with our little grandson, Braxton. Now I know I don't look old enough to be a Grammy, but I am. He looks old enough to be a papa, though. And he's laying on the floor, and they've got cars and books and stuffed animals. And I walk in and I ask him, "How was your day?" "Long," he says. "Vroom, vroom." They play with the cars. "Long, huh? What happened today?" "Oh, well, I had to go to a home where a man had died by himself, an elderly man had died in his home by himself. I had to hang out there for a while today." I said, "Oh, that's too bad. No one should die alone." "Yeah, I hate those calls," he said. "Vroom, vroom, beep, beep." "What else did you do today?" "Oh, we had a couple motor vehicle accidents, so I worked on those." "Vroom, vroom, crash." "Braxton, always wear your seatbelt." "Anything else happen today?" "Yeah. I spent most of the afternoon in a house with a young boy who had committed suicide by hanging himself. I had to cut him down." Vroom, vroom, beep, beep, honk, honk. You see our life? It's not normal. One night, not too long ago, I went to bed a little bit before my husband did. And I'm laying in bed and he comes in about 5 minutes later. And he had gone downstairs and he picked up his tennis shoes that were by the front door. I now know they were there for good reason. And he brought them upstairs and he sat them at the end of the bed. And he crawled into bed. And it took about 30 seconds before I realized that something in this room smells horrific. And it's those shoes. They need to go. I don't know what he did in those shoes. I don't even want to know what he did in those shoes, but they need to go. I said, "Hey, would you mind putting those out on the patio outside the bedroom door?" To which he got up, he grabbed those shoes, he opened the sliding door, and he threw those shoes out the door as far as he could throw them. And he came back, and he grabbed his pillow and the blanket off the bed. "I'm sleeping on the couch," he said. And there was a time when would have said, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to upset you. The shoes can stay there. I'll endure. It's okay. Don't leave. Stay here." I've been down that road before. And I've learned that was an abnormal response to a very normal situation. And it had absolutely nothing to do with me. And it had everything to do with what had happened to him that day. And so in this case, I wised up over the years and I simply said, "Sleep good." He did come back eventually. It must have been cold in there. But you see, our life, it's not normal. Some of you might relate to this. When our kids were young, we'd go to the grocery store and people would walk up to my husband and talk to him all the time. And so we had this little code. If he introduced me to the person, then I hung out there with my kids and all was good. If he didn't introduce me, I took the kids and kept going. Because you see, bad guys are everywhere. In our life, it's not normal. And it's not just abnormal for me, but also for our children. Imagine a time when you've opened social media and you've read stories about something that happened in the community. And you read through the comments after a motor vehicle accident, a shooting, some other kind of situation that's happened, and you read the comments. Many of us spouses have an unwritten rule. Don't read the comments. I've read the comments, and they go something like this, and these are real things that I've read. "That deputy was nothing but a bloodthirsty pig. All cops deserve to die." "That deputy that's nothing but a bloodthirsty pig is my husband. Those cops that deserve to die, my children recognize as their father." You see, our life, it's not normal. These men and women, my husband and many others like them, live, work, raise their children in this community. They love what they do. That's why they do it.
That's right.
They don't do it for any glory, obviously. They do it because they love from the depths of their heart. Our days start off very similar to many of yours. Goodbye, I love you, he says as he kisses me on the cheek. I love you too. Be safe, I say. Promise, he replies. And I know, and he knows, and now you all know. That's no promise at all.